Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We are back with Power F1. Good to have you all with us. I'm Lars of the Red Hot Lovers, challenger driver and commentator for at least a couple more races here in the Pro Tier. You join us at the Portuguese Grand Prix for what I believe is round 5 of the championship. Here, of course, in Portugal. Nice little part of the world, nice little racetrack. Bit of a mixed bag from the drivers, but hopefully it gives us a good race. And so you join us with qualifying already a few minutes underway. 14 runners in the race today. Mali has already retired. I believe that's because they have some real world commitments they have to sort. But we have today Gamma, Benjo, Tixi, Ian, Catastrophes, Casito, JTK, Rocco, Dixie, Persegili, Mali, of course I mentioned, Thomas D, Rickety, and Roy providing the entertainment today. You will notice one very big name is absent, and it could have repercussions for the championship. Of course, Bradley, you're noticing, is not here. Mali's teammate and second in place in the championship at the minute. Persegili will be looking to capitalise and get a good result. Of course, also means that other drivers, the likes of Tixi, can potentially cling further ahead into the championship. Jan saying, is there a point in Q1 even if there's not even 16 drivers? It says Q1, that is a visual glitch. Because we don't have enough drivers, we are just doing a short qualifying session today. So it'll just be a straight shot for pole. And I'm sure we could get word from the fans and viewers as to which system they prefer. Offers a different type of pressure. Basically means you have to be on pace from the word go. You only get 3 laps. You have to manage the traffic a lot more. You can't take it easy on your first stint. So it's a different sort of pressure today. But yeah, it always says Q1 even on short quali for some reason. Really don't know why that hasn't been patched. I'll take a look through the other drivers in a minute. I'm just trying to get some stats up here for you, because we want to have a look at the Drivers' Championship and see the potential ramifications of the race today. Because of course, as I said, Bradley is not present, our championship contender. As Gamma and Benjo throw shade at each other in the chat. As you do, as is the custom. Standings Pro, here we go. Okay, so I say actually Bradley was in contention for the championship. Of course he still is, but the gap is suddenly a lot more after the disastrous couple of rounds he's had. Persegili leads the championship on 38 points. Nearest rival is actually Tixi on 27, so a 9-point deficit to second place. Roy is in third with 20 points after his stunning win out of nowhere in Spain last time out. Rocco is in fourth, and Bradley has dropped down to fifth on 18 points. Has 1 win to his name, but only 2 points gained from the last 2 rounds. So Bradley really struggling at the minute, and Persegili looking a bit more comfortable as he takes provisional pole. But of course, it's still only a third of the way through the season, thereabouts. Anything can still happen. Taking through the rest of the positions. Glon is currently in P6, James Taylor 7th, Narista 8th, JTK 9th, and Mali rounds at the top 10. Catastrophes, Casito, and iCrazy all on 3 points, Gamma being on 2 points, and the rest all tied on 0. So the championship has opened up a little bit in terms of the gaps, but it's by no means a done deal yet. Looking at the constructors, Mercedes top of the class at the minute, 53 points to their name. Roy moves actually Alpine up to second in the championship with 35 points. He's brought in a whole boatload of those. Tixi is carrying Casito up to third in the constructors, McLaren in fourth, Red Bull down in fifth, AlphaTauri sixth, Ferrari seventh, Williams in eighth, Aston Martin in ninth, and at the back with no points to their name yet is Alfa Romeo. So, first round has pretty much been done here. Rather than 3 full sessions, you basically get 3 chances at pole. Tixie is on provisional pole at the minute with a 16.4. Perseguili just behind, not even a tenth behind. Benjo, as soon as I say about how Alfa Romeo have been having a bit of a struggle, is sitting third on the grid. JTK and Catastrophius in 4th and 5th. Rickety in 6th. Gamma B in 7th, Rocco 8th, Thomas D 9th, Casito in 10th, Jan in 11th, and Dixie down 12th. Roy has DNF'd while I was looking away on the stats there. My apologies for that. So yes, we have quite a few less drivers. I'm really not too sure why so many have declared absence from this race. Whether there are potentially real-world commitments, of course. Here in the UK, this is the day where a lot of people get their results, and we do obviously have a lot of young drivers in the field. I'm not too sure the way it is in the rest of the world, but maybe they're getting exam results as well, off-white celebrating, in which case, you know, more power to them. We are, of course, coming to the end of the summer as well. People are thinking about getting back to school, getting back to work, so that could be an impacting factor as well. Could also just be the track, to be honest. I'm not too sure why. It's quite a fun track, Portugal. I didn't even do well here yesterday because of the weather, but yes, it rained again in Challenger. At this point, we always get the rain. But it was a nice enough wee race. So, I hope that's not the reason. I'm pretty sure there are real-world commitments for most people. But it does give some drivers a chance to catch up in the championship and gives Perseguili a golden opportunity to extend his championship lead. But if he messes up, it gives Tixie the chance to get right back up behind Perseguili. Already is second in the championship, but as I said, a 9-point deficit, which is small, but could be crucial come the end of the season. Just looking on who's on a lap at the minute, we've got Benjo going for another run. Gamma's on a run at the minute as well. He's down on his sector times though. Casito in the Haas, some nearly 2.5 seconds off, but he's having another go. We'll keep an eye on him. And who's coming to the line now? Gamma starts his run. We'll go on board with him around this Portugal circuit. Normally, and no, we won't, because he hit the curb on the inside there. We will not go on board with him. Let's try Jan instead. Or let me see, who's actually starting to run? Rickety, here we go. We're right on board with the McLaren of Rickety. So, down into turn 1. You really want 5th gear around here. Don't run wide and exit. Watch out for the sausage curb on the inside. Can very easily send the car forward. Hard braking zone into a right-hander. 2nd or 3rd gear you want here. And be very cautious on the throttle going up the hill. So easy to spin up the rears as the car is unsettled by the undulations of the track. Full throttle with DRS down the back straight here, but again, a hard braking zone to a left-hander, deceptively hard braking. As you are going slightly downhill, the car will carry the momentum. Small left-hander kink up here, and then into the double right-hander. Again, with the undulation change, it unsettles the car. Watch out for this right-hander. Again, very easy to lose the rear on acceleration. Use the curve actually to provide a bit of extra grip. It's like a roller coaster going through a section. Blind right-hander up the hill here. You want to brake fairly late on, but watch out again for the front wheels lifting off the ground because of the undulations. Long left-hander. You'll get yourself up to 4th gear, and it's so tempting to go up to 5th, but don't, because you've got the long right-hander. Squeeze on the throttle, get on the power as early as you dare without spinning up the rears, and be brave. Hold it in 7th through the long right-hander onto the back straight, and then power it down to the line. And Rickety goes 0.3 quicker, P7. And we've got, just looking at the front runners, both front runners on an outlap at the minute. Benjo, I think, is on a lap. Does he improve? We've got yellows in sector 2. That's the Ferrari just pulling over. As we watch Benjo head towards the line. He's hugging the wall quite a bit and goes pole. Albeit only just, but it's pole for the Alfa Romeo, making up for a poor start to the season. How will Tixie respond? With speed, I would imagine. We'll watch Tixie. too sure if there's actually corner names for this track. It doesn't appear to be, it just appears to be turns, which is rather disappointing, if I'm honest. I always like to have a track with a bit of history having names. 1, 2, 3 up in the first sector there. 1 and a 5 tenths, I suppose would be the way to say it. How's Percy Geely? Percy Geely is just behind, so unfortunately we missed the sector time there. We'll try and keep an eye on both cars' sector times. Tixie. So it looks like the Alfa Romeo ahead has run out of fuel, because he's bringing yellow sectors with him. 2.5 tenths up. Percy Geely 4 tenths up, according to the sector times. So Percy Geely looking on course for pole at the minute. And that car has run out of fuel ahead. Benjo, he's about to crawl his way back to the pits. Tixie coming to the line. But this will be good enough for pole temporarily. It's a 16 flat. As Benjo retires, Percy Geely should displace, and indeed does, a 15.9. Benjo is retired as he goes back down to P3. Who else have we got coming round? That is Gamma B heading to the line to start a proper run. It says we've still got yellows, so I can't actually see how long's left in the session. 4 minutes left, so some drivers will have time. They'll have time for another run if they box in quick. Catastrophe does bail for the pit lane. JTK appears to be... Is he on a lap? I think no, he's backed off. He's out of fuel. And Thomas D is on a lap as well, 3 tenths up. We'll be hoping for a better run here as a pro reserve today. Despite doing well in previous races in Challenger, he didn't do so hot yesterday here and earned the ire of some drivers. He goes ahead of Rocco for P11, but he's still 1.8 off a pole. Not exactly sure what's happened to Rocco, to be honest. He's 1.9 off the pace and is still in the garage. Thomas D, if he wants to near the lap, will have to go around fairly quick. Gamma is on his run and does seem to be improving marginally. Hugging that curb for all it's worth. Hope he didn't have to get out of the throttle for that, and he does indeed bail for the pits. They're all starting to come out for their final runs. Catastrophe pulls out of the pits. I'm not too sure why Benjo retired. Jan is on his outlap. No, he's not. He's coming back in. Not too sure what the strategy call is there. But it's going to be Catastropheus who will be next on the track to give it a go. I hate this new Discord layout. Trying to find the correct chats is an absolute nightmare. Where are we? That's music chat. That's the previous season's chat. It's Challenger Series. Where the feck is the pro? There we are. Tier Chat Pro. There we go. So, just having a look. Roy getting mad at Jan. Apparently, that had something to do with his retirement. He locked his tires, apparently hit into. Mali has apparently left the lobby to grab a setup, and that retired the car, which is rather unusual. Just going to have a look at the replay myself here as to what happened to Jan. Apologies if you're hearing this down the mic. I do need to figure out how to be able to show you guys replays. Yeah, I imagine Jan will have a penalty there, because that was quite a nasty hit. I'll see if I can find a way to show replays, hopefully afterwards. Because it would be nice to do. The top three have retired, just while I'm having a look around. We've got Catastrophe on the lap. He's improved by about 1.5 in the second sector, which would not be enough to displace Rickety. He'll be first to set a lap time, and then the rest of the cars will all follow around. Oh, never mind, he's invalidated, so Catastrophe stays P8 at minimum. JTK begins his lap. So it'll be JTK followed by Gamma, then Rickety, Casito, Rocco, and Jan, who I assume has a 5-place grid penalty for blocking Roy. Don't know if Catastropheus has the fuel in him to do another run. We will find out, I suppose. And we've got yellows as Gamma has invalidated. And I don't think he'll have time for another one. Catastropheus is pulling over the side to let people through. Yep, with 22 seconds, so Gamma is done. He's stuck in P9. JTK will be first across the line with a new time. He's about 10th up in Sector 2. As you can see from the timing charts in the top right. He goes around that long right-hander, just about keeps it within the white lines. That was very close. Thomas D is classified P11. And it's P4 for JTK. Not a bad showing at all. Next up will be Rickety, who's 2/10 quicker, but he just went over the line, but it seems to still be valid, just about. He got away lucky there to the McLaren driver. As he powers to the line and goes P6. Casito, next across the line. Was P10, stays P10. Rocco goes to P7. Jan was P5, goes to P3. Whether that will stay or not remains to be seen. Is anyone else coming in line? Dixie has invalidated, so he's not going to improve. Just Catastropheus now, who did, it seems, make it round for another run. I mean, he's charging ERS, so he's not really going to go much quicker. He does displace Dixie for P8. So, confirmation, Persegili taking advantage, doing what he needs to do. He is ahead of his new nearest rival, Tixie. Jan will be P3 for now. We'll check the results afterwards to see if he gets displaced, as Benjo, I believe, gets his best qualifying of the season in P4. That is the end of qualifying. I don't know, personally I kind of like short qualifying. I know we use it in Challenger, so I may be a little bit biased, but yeah, it's a bit of pressure in different ways, you know? Emil, it is short qual, as you can see, so Persegili is on pole, and indeed Jan, you can see there, does have a 5 position penalty, so he will move down to P8. Benja will start 3rd, JTK 4th, Rickety 5th, Rocco 6th, and Catastropheus will start 7th. So, only 14 drivers. What can Mali and Roy do from the back? Mali apparently having difficulties with the game. Roy having difficulties with Jan. What can they do? Jan obviously showing pace, but now he's stuck in the midfield. Should be an interesting race. Hopefully will be. Smaller grid doesn't necessarily have to mean a bad race. But we will see what we can do. As we wait for the drivers to change their strategies. No word from our weatherman. He's not alt-tabbing today because his game's on the blink as well. If he has to reset the wheel by disconnecting the USB, the whole game crashes. So, all these technical dramas reminds me of Jordan back in the 2000s. Every other weekend there was a gearbox, an electronics issue. The car was basically held together with tape and string. Sometimes it feels like that's what this game is being held together by. But it's not, it's being held together by something equally weak, that being the ego engine. As we get 5 red lights, and the Portuguese Grand Prix is go. Decent getaway from Persegili, but it's a better getaway, I believe, from Benjo. He's looking to the outside. McLaren's harassing JTK as Jan tries to make up places after his penalty. Is he going to be a bit overzealous on that, though? He's tagged on the inside of one of the McLarens as we see Thomas D running a bit wide as Mali is disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. Now, why did they not leave the line? Jan, meanwhile, we'll find out later on. Jan's making places. Catastrophe appears to be tagged. Not too sure who by, but he drops to the back. And there'll be yellows in Sector 1. No safety car or virtual safety car. But Persegili leads them away from Tixi, from Benjo, JTK, Rickety, Jan, Rocco, Gamma B, Dixie, Roy, Thomas D, Casito, and Catastropheus. Biggest winner off the line is Roy, up 4 places. Biggest losers, Catastropheus, down 6. We saw that little tap from earlier on. In terms of the tyre compounds, most going for the mediums. Benjo trying to take advantage on the softs, as well as Gamma B, Roy, and Thomas D. Feeling perhaps they have nothing left to lose. No penalties off the line, so that's all looking good. As they head onto the back straight to complete the first lap. And Persegili, obviously, with the fastest lap, he was first to start. At the back, we've got some battles going on. That looks like Dixie making a move on Gamma B. Moves to the inside. That's as clean as you like. Thomas D making a move on Casito. Casito tries to hang around the outside, and he is still there, but you'll have to get out of it before turn 3. And now coming under pressure from the Ferrari of Catastropheus as Gamma B nabs back against Dixie. Little moves happening all throughout the field here. Roy trying to make up for lost time and catch up with his teammate. You saw Jan getting past JTK as well on our telemetry screen. So many small battles happening all throughout the track. JTK really all at sea at the minute. Rickety is now starting to climb over the back of him as we get the strategies popping up. If you're on the softs, you're pitting about lap 14 for the mediums, slightly only 1 or 2 laps later for the hards. There's not much of a difference in the tyre wear compounds at all. Everyone, meanwhile, is lambasting Thomas D in the team radio. Some things never change. Mali has left the session. They haven't typed in exactly what happened, as Casito falls behind Catastropheus, the two of them battling away rather respectfully, it must be said. Persegili sets a new fastest lap of the race. Trying to look ahead if anyone is doing any of the slipstreaming. We've got potential as DRS is activated as Gamma B makes a move on Rocco, goes to the inside. Rocco runs wide and keeps the position. Not entirely sure that's legal. He does seem to hang back and see the position as Rickety very early on the brakes there, almost as if to slow down his teammate, and Gamma B just plows straight into the back of Rocco. But both cars staying on track. Not sure if that was desync there, because the car reacted very strangely, but Gamma B obviously realizing he'd done wrong there and letting Rocco back through at the cost of some more places. I think he'd realized he outbraked. I don't know if he has wing damage. If he doesn't, that's an incredibly tough Alpine. But good on him by doing the right thing and letting Rocco through. Also let his teammate through. Roy now up to P8, making an excellent comeback so far. He's only 3 laps in. Has made up several places. The top 4 starting to break away. JTK 2.1 behind Jan, and sort of forming a bit of a train here as who was that going up the inside? That's Roy having a look at Dixie in the second Mercedes. Not able to find a way through on this occasion. Who is close enough to take advantage of the slipstream? Rickety gaining on JTK at a fairly rapid pace. You'd have to say that the JTK is built more for downforce around this track to get a better traction in the second sector. It's not paying off at the minute, although he does get another look back into the entrance of Sector 1. That was very nicely countermanded. Well done, sir. Rickety will have to try and find another way through as JTK uses the downforce to his advantage. We saw Gamma pitting. Very early pit stop for him. He was on the softs and he's got 5 seconds as a result. Rickety looks to the outside. He is ahead at the corner, but he has a compromised line. JTK gives him the room. He's still alongside just about is Rickety, but he tucks in behind as they head up the hill. We've got yellows in Sector 2. That was Casito recovering from a spin, it looks like, as Gamma exits the pit lane. And this train is really starting to cause bothers. Rickety knows he's got the pace. He's now 3 seconds and a bit adrift of Benjo, who is holding down P4 in a good position so far. As Mali is shouting away at the league. I'm not exactly sure what we... I think it was mentioned in the announcements that quality was going to be short because we didn't have enough drivers. Not that it matters because Mali has been disqualified anyway. You can see the gap forming because of this train as Casito has spun out again. He really needs to take some time to cool those tires down. He's 25 seconds adrift now. The front runners all bunching up together, and as soon as I look away, Rickety makes the move on JTK. JTK goes back to the inside and once again seems to deny. Rickety will go on board, gives him the squeeze, but just enough room. Rickety will have the inside and should keep that position, but will now lose out on DRS. Is it enough? As Roy also looks to the inside, it is enough. Rickety does stay ahead, and Roy on the softer compound tire also says thank you very much and tries to get past JTK. Has he done it? JTK is still on the inside but backs out of it. JTK is starting to struggle on pace. Roy makes his way through. Casito retires in the pit lane. He's had enough. I'm wondering if he's still having problems with his wheel. He said he was earlier on. As these two begin to try and set off after Benjo. 4.8 the gap, and it's stabilizing somewhat, but how much time has that cost them? JTK is becoming something of a mobile roadblock at the minute. Doing well to hold his position, but just not enough straight line speed. And the downforce is helping in Sector 2, but it's not really where he needs to find the pace. Dixie, now under pressure from Rocco. Rocco is on the racing line, has moved to the outside as Roy slipstreams Rickety and does get through. Dixie will have to remain behind for another lap. Gamma B miles behind now, 30 seconds adrift after that pit stop. Although he has, as long as he can stay on the lead lap, it should pay some dividends later on. As you can see the front four driving away, but all staying together. Benjo's sticking with him. But Roy is now starting to close this gap up. It's 5 seconds the gap now. Bit of a mistake there, I think, from Rocco. And JTK, he's not exactly being left for dead here, despite the slower pace earlier on. He seems to be getting a nice tow from these other cars. And the field will maybe start to bunch up again as Roy, of course, our unlikely winner last time out, looking for another good haul of points. And running very respectably in P5 at the minute. Gaps are pretty close at the minute. That's incredibly close as Jan tries to get past Persegilian with slipstream. He should do so. Using his overtake, of course, Persegili also has DRS from Tixie. Tixie not having to use ERS. Tixie going for a very quick setup in the straight line. And making it last with the grip. And I keep losing YouTube chat as I try to get you guys on here so I can see voice the chat in here. It's alright, nothing new anyway. Let's see, the gaps are all pretty close. I'm just trying to keep an eye on when an overtake might happen. We've got yellows in Sector 1. That was Rocco, who is 8 seconds down. So he had a spin somewhere while I was trying to fix chat for a second there. Everything happens when I look away, I swear down. Looking at the gaps on track, Dixie really desperate to get past JTK here, and it's not happening. And JTK all the while just being pulled along by Rickety and Roy. The gap stabilized again, it's 5.9, not really closing up much. Benjo has dropped back slightly, maybe to try and conserve his tires. Remember, he's on the softs while the front runners are on the medium, so he will have to pit first. And he's hugging the inside here. Is he going to go into the box? No, he does swing out wide. As Jan assaults Persegili again. Not in that legal sense, please don't send the police. But he's burned through pretty much all his ERS. He has nothing to get himself past that Mercedes. Further on back, Roy defends against Rickety for another lap. And Thomas E holding down Catastropheus in P9. Again on the soft compound tire though, so he will have to pit fairly soon. Really wish we could see what happened to Rocco. There's no damage, so I'm thinking he spun by himself as he gets 3 seconds for multiple warnings. He's run wide there a few times as Rocco, and it's finally caught up with him. Just board with him for a little bit. He's starting to struggle a bit, is Rocco. He's dropping back. Meanwhile, Benjo, I think, sensing it's his time. He's got much more ERS, and he's close right to the back of Persigili, who did get overtaken by Jan. I swear to God, every time I'm looking somewhere else. This is why I flipping need some indicator that just automatically swaps over. But Persigili's starting to struggle a bit here. And in the battle of the drag, Persigili's still holding, not using any ERS. Benjo has the inside line and does take third place. Persigili down to fourth. Perhaps playing it safe. Jan has burnt everything. He's got no ERS left. Tixi has burned quite a bit in his defense, it seems. And further on back, this trainer lane is now being led by Roy. Roy has lost the advantage of those softs, and he's starting to drop back even more from this front pack. You see, leading that little trainer lane. Rocco not really making any inroads. He's obviously not happy on the mediums. And with the DRS working the way it does, it's difficult for people to find a way past at the minute. They're all keeping it relatively clean. No safety cars, no accidents of any kind at the minute. Probably commentators cursed it, but anyway. We watch Catastropheus, who is actually the closest battle on track. He is right behind Thomas D, where he was. Lost a little bit of time in the final corner, but goes in, maybe sensing that the softs are starting to fall off. Dives to the inside. And you can see, oh, that bump there on the inside, though, just unsettling the car slightly. Thomas D tries to brave it around the outside, and he is within track limits. Oh, as Catastrophe rides the curb and has to get out of it. It's a miracle that either A, didn't spin, or B, sent the gearbox right up his ass. Because that was a hell of a ride. It stays behind in 10th for now. Thomas D lives another day, but it's cost him time. He's 1.3 behind. He's out of DRS range of Dixie. You can see that the gaps are becoming bigger and bigger as those soft runners, who I believe are pretty well spread throughout the field. I believe the soft runners who are well spread throughout the field, their tires are starting to die. You can see Thomas coming under pressure, Roy is dropping back, and Benjo the only one of the soft runners to actually be maintaining his position and indeed gaining on Jan somewhat. But Rocco gets another 3-second time penalty for his sins. His afternoon goes from bad to worse. So, we'll keep an eye on Benjo. Closest gap on track at the minute, though Persigili keeping him honest. Of course, he wants to take as many points as he can, but he also knows he has to play it a little bit safe. A DNF here would do him no good at all. But at the same time, Tixi, his new rival in the championship, is leading and will take 18 points. Seeing who has the fastest up is Jan, who's taking the fastest lap point at the minute with a 1:19.1. So at least he's not losing out on that to Tixi. Try and get the intervals back up there. There we go. They've all sort of settled into this little trainer lane at the minute, all trying to find a way through. Pit stops will be crucial. As Catastrophes and Thomas D are really starting to drop back a bit now. Catastrophes did get past Thomas D on his worn softs, but he's well adrift. And up at the front as Roy pits, first of the soft runners to pit, with the exception of Gamma, who pitted like lap 4. It's the medium compound going on. Now, what can Roy do with those? And how long can the medium runners keep going? Safety car doesn't look particularly likely at the minute, though anything can happen. So it's up to the drivers to work out whether the undercut or the overcut is better. Roy thinking the undercut's the way. He'll come across Rocco in a little bit, but once he gets past him, he's got a nice bit of clear track. Sorry folks, bear with me. And what do you know, I have to go take a phone call and safety car happens. Someone mind explain to me? Since I missed it, I can see that Rocco DNF'd. Now this will be interesting because Roy has pitted. And actually, do you know what? It's not really worked out for him because it's not worked out for anyone behind because everyone, all the top 5 will basically get a free pit stop. Catastropheus, I was going to say he's our net leader, but no way, he's yet to pit. I don't know why he hasn't pitted, so looking at the tyre compounds, quite interesting here. Tixie and Yan on the hards, Benjo on the mediums, Persigili on the hards. Rickety has gone to the softs. JTK on the hards, Roy on the mediums. So everyone has pitted now except for Catastropheus, which I think is a bit of a missed call. And poor old Roy. Couldn't have had worse timing. Had he waited a little bit longer, he would have been at the head of this sort of queue. He's now, as it stands, lost out to JTK. Maybe not a massive loss, only one position. At least it will catch him back up, but he was struggling to get past JTK earlier on. And of course that means he's now got to do that all over again. Rocco saying his wheel disconnected, so technical difficulties for Rocco, resulting in him going straight on into the wall. So we'll get a restart with the field all bunched up together. Be interesting to see what Catastrophes can do. You have to wonder whether he's playing the team game here. And just thinking, look, if I can hold these front runners up, let my teammate try and get close to the front. It's the only reason I can see for him doing that strategy. Because as it stands, he's going to lose pretty much everything he has gained. Which is a real shame. Now, is safety car coming in this lap? I think it should do. Doesn't appear to be. It's not pulling off yet. We are in Sector 3. It's still waiting on Gamma to catch up. So hopefully this will be the last lap under safety car. They're all bunching up already, guys. For God's sake, when we say don't do a Portimao, please definitely don't. Nothing means you all messing up on the restart. And surely safety car will come in this lap. Let's try and get a number for Catastrophes. Lights are still on. We're about to cross into Sector 3. And yes, safety car is in this lap. So the Ferrari of Catastrophes will take them across the line for the restart. Awesome. As Persegili and Benjo keep on crossing over each other. Benjo going incredibly slowly. Not exactly sure what he's playing at there, but that was ridiculously slow. Dropped well behind the car in front. But we shall watch for the restart. And Catastrophes is gone already, as Benjo gets 5 seconds for ignoring yellow flags, apparently. Not quite sure how that's happened, but Persegili wastes no time getting past the Alfa Romeo driver. Might be able to get that removed if it was a glitch, but if he's got to pit again, then he will have to serve it. Catastrophes immediately loses out to Tixi and to Jan. There you go, Jan going off the track to complete that overtake, it seemed. Catastrophes on old rubber is really struggling. I don't know why he didn't bother to pit. He's battling away though, as he's entitled to do. It is for track position. Benjo tries to get back up the inside of Persegili and uses that slow Ferrari to his advantage. That was a brilliant move. Takes Catastrophes in the process, and Persegili will have to settle for 5th until he can get past. That was some opportunistic driving by Benjo, and very well done indeed. Perseguili all over the back of the Ferrari. Trying to find a way through. He's on the hard compound tyre, so he is going to the end. What Catastropheus' plan is, I'm not really sure. I guess it's just survive for as long as possible as JTK is battling with the other Mercedes of Dixie. No DRS for 2 laps, of course. Catastropheus using ERS, but it's to no avail. And Roy, oh, coming alongside. It's like Ben-Hur. They're banging wheels, are they? Perseguili does just stay ahead of Roy and moves up to P4. Hasn't lost too much time. He's 1.5 behind Benja, who does have that penalty to contend with. As Thomas D now gets ahead of Dixie, further at the back. They all try and slipstream each other down. Dixie senses the move. Bit of clattering there. Oh, and Thomas D. Oh, Thomas D, no! You can't just bash across like that. He loses the position anyway, but that was naughty from Thomas D. Understandable in some way because Dixie was very late on the brakes in the corner, but he didn't cause damage. There was no need for Thomas D to do that. Looks to the inside. That's a bit of a... I mean, it nearly came off, but it's cost him dear. He's not thinking with his head right now as Thomas D. He's thinking with his heart. And his heart right now is saying, get back at Dixie. He survives that assault against Gamma B. For now. But this battle is still brewing. I want to keep an eye on this just in case anything does happen. ERS is enabled. A little bit of a bump draft from Gamma there. And there was contact. As Gamma, he's shunting people, is Thomas D. This is getting silly now. Thomas D falls behind. And perhaps quite rightly so. Again, I know there's stuff happening up the track, but I want to keep an eye on this just for posterity's sake, I suppose. In case anything happens, Catastropheus falls behind his teammate. I think he knew that was always going to happen. Okay, Thomas seems to have all settled down a little bit here. Meanwhile, Dixie now battling with the 2 Ferraris. Catastropheus has dropped well back. He's down in P7. And Dixie losing the car there at the top of the hill and losing a bunch of positions. Just went a bit deep, I think. No contact was made. Gamma B, meanwhile, trying to take advantage. Looks to the inside of Rickety, but is denied by Catastropheus. That car getting in the way again. Rickety still having a sniffer up the inside, but cannot do anything. Gamma B thinks better of it on this occasion. This is a really good scrap for the tail end of the points, but they're still points. They will fight for everything they're worth. Surely Catastropheus will have to see the position this time. Goes to block off Gamma. Gamma makes a slight bump, and there's that little bump on the start line that just unsettles the car on that side. It's very strange. Tixie gets 3 seconds, which could be huge later on. As Benjo, what the hell's happened here? As Jan, there's been contact somewhere. Who's lost the front wing? Benjo's lost his front wing. What on earth happened there? Has Tixie got damage? Tixie has dropped behind, having run wide. Roy is now up to 3rd, and Perseguili is in 2nd. But Benjo's gone deep. Oh, don't come back on in a dangerous way. Whatever you do, you're missing a front wing. Jan is apparently going to collect some rocks. I'm not sure what he's doing out there. Not sure what happened there. We were watching the battle further on back. And Jan is now out of the session. What has happened here? He appears to have gone off on that inside wall. Lost the rears. So Yellow's in sector 2. No safety car as yet. And there doesn't appear to be. The car has been moved. So Perseguili will lead from Roy, who potentially is lining up a 2nd win of the season. Tixie is now down to 3rd with a penalty. Benjo, who already had the penalty, will now have to serve it and replace his front wing. It's all gone wrong for the Alfa Romeo driver. But Tixie also appears to have damage because they've pitted as well. Gamma moves up to 4th. That may not last for long because Rickety is now having a look. Has a little think. Does he not? No, he doesn't. Well, of course, when nothing happens for a while, everything happens at once. From what I can see, Jan just blew up on his own. Obviously wasn't able to get the dirt off his tyres. Benjo and Tixie were together on the track, so I think what's happened is Benjo has gone for a move, Tixie has gone wide and has got the penalty, and there's been collision when coming back on because they both damaged each other. Persegili and Roy just arrived later onto the scene. Maybe Jan can give us some insight later on. Maybe give us a clip that I'll hopefully be able to share with the rest of the stream. But as it stands, Roy is now our race leader. He did overtake Persegili because of the compound difference. And Roy has gone from basically the back of the field to the front. They've both done one stop. He's on older mediums though. The question is, can he make those mediums last? Persegili does have more ERS. No, he doesn't. They have about the same. JTK, who has come up out of nowhere, is the one who has got the most ERS. Gamma B falls behind Rickety. And, well, whilst Persegili may be thinking, great, this will just extend my lead in the championship, everyone else is thinking, this could really throw the championship in a new direction for me. Because Jan has gone, Rocco's gone, and Mali's gone. There's no Bradley. Is now their time to shine. Rickety looking to get his first points of the season, currently sitting in 4th. JTK, after Ferrari's scruffy start, is looking to get potentially a podium. Gamma B also looking for a few extra points, hasn't had too many so far. Roy knocking on the door so far of a potential second win, but Persegili won't let him have it easy. But another podium for Roy, especially after what happened in quali. And his hard luck with the pit stops would suffice. And that's something to understand actually as well, that even though Roy is on older mediums, he's not technically, because he put those on just before the safety car, so all those laps that he's counted on under safety car really don't damage the tyre much at all. As it stands, Persegili does seem to have a bit more pace. He's got more ERS, certainly. But Roy keeping it clean in the Alpine. Is DRS enough this time? No, it's not. As Tixie sets the fastest lap of the race, and Rickety on the inside does get ahead of JTK. Does he not? Squeezes him out slightly, but that's perfectly clean. Rickety up into the podium places. Much like the real-life McLaren 23 season, in this later part of it, he's suddenly come alive. This is where the main battle is, aside from the front runners, as Gamma B is looking to capitalize on JTK. The hard runners struggling at this point, it seems. Whoa, but not as much as Gamma, losing the rear ever so slightly. Just manages to keep it under control, but that lets him fall into the claws of Dixie. We'll all go down to Dixie, for Dixie we are bound. Not quite a civil war here, anything but civil in F1. As Persegili launches his attack. Union Blue isn't enough to save Roy on this occasion. He looks to the inside, but it's gone. Persegili has got the lead back. For now. Meanwhile, we have yellows, and that is Roy. Oh no, Roy spinning at the top of the hill and falling back to 6th. What a shame for him, but Rickety and Gamma suddenly thinking, hang on, we're on the podium together. The gap is there for Rickety, he can control it. Gamma B under somewhat more pressure from JTK and from Dixie. With 10 to go, including this one. And you have to say, it's looking good for Persegili at the minute. For Tixie, not so much. Even with that fastest lap, he's 13 seconds down. Poor old Benjo, if he finishes, will still score points, but what might have been, after such a promising qualifying, down at the tail fringes of the points again. And the gaps are much more stable at the minute. DRS will come into play again as JTK, Gamma and Dixie are all within combat range. He's gaining, but not enough time being gained for JTK. Gamma looking after those mediums rather well at present. It's all quieting down a little bit. We'll ride on board with Dixie in his pursuit of P4. Not wanting his teammate to take all the glory. Seems to have much better braking at the top of the hill and still a decent exit. JTK seems to struggle a bit there. Dixie with DRS, it's an easy enough move. Nice and clean, nothing to worry about. Dixie takes P4 for the Mercedes. Will JTK take it lying down? He may not have much of a choice. Dixie rapidly closing the gap on Thomas D. 8 seconds now the gap, albeit with a penalty. And Roy trying to close in and reclaim what he probably feels is rightfully his, but he did make the mistake. I didn't see any contact, and there was no damage to signify any contact. Poor old Roy. Still be a good load of points at the end, but could have been another podium, could have been another win, had things gone his way. He's not had it easy today, between the smash up in qualifying, and now the spin in the race. Everything's settling down for this tail end. As I say, closest gap is JTK, who just lost out to Dixie. We can all breathe a little bit more softly and just enjoy the ASMR of some modded V8 engines. As Dixie gets 3 seconds, so suddenly it's all opened up for JTK and for Roy again for that matter, as he is within 3 seconds of Dixie. And that 4th place is now looking just that little bit more dubious. Again, so easy to do at the top in Sector 1, so easy to lose. Just a little bit of a snap of oversteer, or maybe just carrying a little bit too much speed, and you will go wide and they will penalise you for it. We're not quite at Austria levels of penalty giving, but still a track that's notorious for them. And Gamma will be getting a penalty if he keeps running wide like that. Further on down the order, Tixie, our former pole sitter and race leader, or not former pole sitter, former second on the grid, and former race leader as well, is currently chasing down Thomas D. within, just going to come within 2 seconds. Go on board for a little bit. On the soft compound tyre, of course, until the end, so we'll have plenty of grip, plenty of speed, but just not enough laps really to make use of them. I'll catch Thomas D and then have to try and pull away, and then it's a further 8 seconds up the road to Roy. Persegili so far has done everything he needed to and is looking good for a win and extending his lead in the championship. Tixie now well within a second. Thomas D appears to be struggling on those mediums. He runs wide as Gamma gets 3 seconds. I know it didn't actually happen, but it kind of looks like Thomas D just said, nah, Gamma can take this one for me. As he sends up the inside, and goodbye Thomas D. That is P7 for Tixie. 8 seconds up the road to Roy. Thomas D will try and come back, will he not? And you can see he's just not as comfortable with getting on the power as Tixie is. I mean, he's got plenty of straight line speed with the DRS and with overtake. Surely he won't send it from there. He does send it from there, but wisely gets out of it. Goes a little bit wide for his trouble. He's burned through pretty much all of his ERS as well. There's nothing doing there, I'm afraid. Roy, meanwhile, chasing down JTK as Catastrophe has picked up 3 seconds, but he's at the back anyway, so I mean, he was going to catch Benjo, but now he's going to have to catch him and pull out 3 seconds as we get a little Tokyo drift from the Ferrari driver there, which compromises his run with the DRS. Poor old Benjo. You got a feel for him. It was going so well, and we'll find out what happened afterwards, I'm sure, with the interviews. We've got 4 to go, including this one. And it's been very quiet towards the end. All the action was really early on in this race. But not bad for a field of only, well, I say a field of 14. We really mostly only had a field of about 11 for the most part, and then Jan DNF'd as well, so field of about 10, but still decently good racing. Still haven't beaten Challenger 1's record though, the fact that we had a wet race yesterday and we had no safety car. And yet in Spain we had like 4 of them. Make from that what you will. As Roy is desperately trying to get past JTK because he knows that Dixie has the 3 seconds and he knows he's quicker and can probably close that gap up and take 4th place. An Alpine 3-4 would do wonders for them in the Constructors' Championship. Roy has already shown what he's capable of. It's been, you have to say, it's been a very good performance, even though he's been a bit unlucky in the end. Although he had that spin, which was his fault, he did start at the back of this race. And he's currently in P6, which is a fine fight back. Gains on JTK, he won't get through there, no chance. Might have a run here into the left-hander. JTK has, whoa! A bit of lag is what he has. Jeez, that was close. And Roy, the netcode gods being kind to him, because I've seen it before where that can easily result in the loss of a tyre when you clip into another car like that. And the rest of the gap's pretty opened up. This is the battle to watch at the minute. Whoa, Roy, steady on, boy. Losing the rear a little bit, accelerating on the curb. JTK saving ERS as well. I think he's still within Dixie's 3 seconds though, is Roy. But he really wants to get past JTK and get 2 positions rather than 1. He's got just under 2 laps to do it. By my count, everyone will finish on the lead lap. But he's running out of time and he's running out of places now. He has to just try and keep it clean through this second sector. If he can stay with JTK, doesn't need to run through there that time. No, it's all about getting on the power early to take advantage of DRS. He stays in fourth, which is interesting. Cost them a little bit on the initial launch, both using their ARS. DRS activated for Roy. As JTK is charging. Does he send it? No, he thinks better of it, does Roy. JTK running slightly wide there. He will still finish ahead of Dixie at this pace, but he really wants that fourth place. He's got one more lap to do it. The team and any of Roy's fans will be willing him on as JTK goes defensive. But there's just nothing left in those mediums. There's probably not much left in the hards either. But JTK, now having burned his ERS, is really struggling. And whilst it's been a valiant drive from Roy on the fight back, it's been an equally stout-hearted defense from JTK. You'll maybe get one more chance coming up to the line. JTK and Roy both exhausted on their ERS reserves, as meanwhile Persegili has done everything he had to and comes across line to win the Portuguese Grand Prix. Rickety will take a podium he probably didn't see coming and get second, and Gamma B will get third at the minute. Dixie crosses the line and gets fourth. JTK does hold on to the position, so he'll get fourth. Roy will get fifth. Dixie goes sixth. Tixie finishes seventh. Thomas D will get eighth. Benjo ninth, and Catastrophe will finish in 10th. But well done to our podium finishers. Gamma finally back on the podium. Rickety up there as well to start his points tally off. But it's Persegili who has done everything right. Persegili saying thanks for the win, guys. So lucky. Maybe it was a bit of luck, but you know what? He kept his nose clean. You can't say much more than that. Benjo just saying that was unfortunate. As Rickety and Gamma congratulate each other. And there's your confirmation of your positions. I'll just send those on through to the chat. There we go. So yes, Persegili takes another win. Rickety second, Gamma third, in a very interesting podium. Well done to Gamma from 10th to second. Roy, though, driver of the day, understandably, from 14th to 14th to 5th. Thomas D not too bad, 12th to 8th. And poor old Tixie from 2nd all the way down to 7th. Benjo lamenting his luck. Should have been a podium, he says. But points are points. But there you go. That is the end of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Now then, let me get the comm team up. Get off of F1 itself. And we will prepare for the interviews. I will go into Voice Channel Pro. And let me just see if there is a way for me to actually get a screen recording here. Just bear with me, folks. Let me see. We could just do a screen capture, which I think we will do. Ooh, trippy. And let's just have a wee look here, shall we? Just the replay. We'll probably get a few more in here. But just to show you what happened earlier on with Roy in that quali session. In fact, actually, we'll wait until we call him in. We'll wait till we call him in. So for now, put it back to here. And we have 4 in the com box. We have Roy, we have Rickety, we have Catastropheus, and we have Gamma. I think we'll call him Roy first, actually.
Oh, what the fuck?
Roy, my boy.
Yeah.
I mean, rough day at the office for you, to put it mildly.
Yeah, fucking Jan. He's such a fucking dickhead.
Hey, PG, come on.
Sorry, he's a very annoying person.
Yeah, I don't know if you're sort of... I mean, I'm going to show the chat just real quick. Well, first of all, your little quali incident.
Yeah.
You can tell me if it's coming up on stream or not.
I'm not looking.
If possible.
Looking at the stream.
Let me just actually check if it's coming up there. Let me just get onto the live. Seems to be working okay. Yeah, I don't have 2 monitors, so sue me. But yeah, I mean, let's just have a watch on board here. So
that's my quick.
we'll mute. Well, actually, no, we'll keep the volume on just in case. I know they're swearing, but we like to hear the radio. So just watch it all the way through.
He did it on his first lap.
Who's dying?
That's.
What the fuck is Jan?
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
I don't know if volume was on there on the stream, but we got some massive swearing. So just having a wee look through this, from what I see, so Jan is on. You're on an out. No, you're on a lap at this point. Jan had just come out of the pits, I believe.
Yeah.
And you activate DRS, and if we just pause here, you can see he does go off the racing line intending to let you through, but obviously realizes, look, I'm in the braking zone. And then comes back across. That is... I mean, you got penalised, you got a 5-position penalty, and later on DNF in the race.
He needs more.
Yeah, I would... I mean, I'm assuming you're going to take that to the stewards because, that was a heck of an impact. How he didn't DNF as well, I have no idea.
Yeah, how the fuck didn't he DNF? And it was my first lap, so I was just last.
If anyone else, by the way...
It was almost the last to first. Almost.
I mean, if anyone else has any clips, this is the best thing. We'll get to a replay system. So if you want to have a look at that, if you want to post them in the chat and I'll bring them up, we could do that.
I can show you something maybe on the stream, maybe. I
mean, I can't... well, if you just post any clips, like in the tier chat pro, we'll have a look there. Persecutor, I've just noticed saying in chat there to you, Daniel, you need to stop spinning on your own when we're battling. I mean, was that just a spin of your own making there? Or?
Yeah, I just pushed too hard over the hill and I just got in the dirty ass.
I mean, and you were looking odds on for, at the very least, a podium, potentially not... I mean, do you think you had the pace to face off against Persecutor?
Yeah, maybe. I would stay with him, I think. I would stay in the DRS. Yeah, sorry, I'm just chatting. Yeah, I think I would have stayed within the DRS and maybe just, maybe get him. But it was so annoying because, like, I just pitted to undercut to maybe catch up to the guys in front.
We saw that, and then there was a safety car.
And then there was a safety car.
I think I actually gave mention to you on the stream about that because you were so unlucky with that timing. I mean, you didn't lose out too much on your initial position, just fall behind JTK again, but had it been, had you been a little bit further round, I mean, what could have been, what could have been.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you still show good pace.
Yeah.
And it's still some nice points for the constructors and for the drivers as well.
And Gamma is the GOAT, honestly.
Gamma is the GOAT. I mean, I know Rickety is pretty goated as well, let's just be honest.
Yeah, Gamma also, like, qualified P10.
I
He
mean,
was also like
Gamma's not
paying a
real,
lot.
so Gamma's not real, so
Yeah, it's his pace is not real. In quali, at least.
he's just not real. He's just not real.
In quali, you should have seen him in quali. He was so shit.
Right, I'm gonna chuck you out of my combox for swearing so much. Get out of here.
Okay.
No fucking swearing in my combox.
Okay, you fucking dickhead.
Yeah, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. Right, but anyway, we do have to keep moving the interviews. We'll get Rocco in real quick. Rocco, going to be a very brief interview, I imagine. What happened, lad?
My wheel disconnected.
Your wheel disconnected? Like, just
Yeah.
completely, and what, you just went straight into the, like, straight on, like Massa back in Hungary, and when you got hit by the spring, you
Yeah.
just went straight on?
Exactly.
Oh, jeez. Any idea what caused it? Did it reconnect after, or is your wheel
I
now
had
buggered?
to restart my PC to get it to stop shaking, but
Ah.
after that it reconnected and it was fine.
Can't help but wonder if something similar happened to Casito, because he was complaining of problems with his wheel as well.
Yeah, I think it was more to do with the actual wheel rather than the game. But
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's fixable.
I
Yes,
think
obviously we
I think
don't
it's
want to-
already fixed. I mean,
Well, here's hoping it
I
stays
was in the
fixed then.
game with using the wheel to move around in the spectator menu.
Nah, fair enough. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say, really, because your race before that was kind of, well, just... It happened, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, I spun on my own at turn 4 because I got a tiny screen freeze, but I should have been able to save it. Really.
Yeah. Oh well, these things happen, so at least you don't have to suffer in the com box with me for too long. But hard luck. And we'll carry on through with the interviews in here. But thank you for the effort anyway, Rocco.
Yeah,
And
cheers.
hopefully better luck for you next time. I am going to briefly move down into waiting for interview 1. Thomas,
Hello there.
very quickly, talk us through your race.
Quickly. Well,
Yeah, because I'm tired and I couldn't be arsed with all the idiots that are going to be above in the chat.
good start, slow ending.
What about the battle? There is one point I do want to talk about. It was the battle, I think it was about in the early stages. It was you and I'm trying to think who you were battling with early on.
I
There was a
can't
bit of
remember.
argy-bargy. Should we put it that way? Gamma was involved, I
It
believe.
was very busy. Yes, at the back, the front guys ran away, and behind there, all of them were fighting. So I was behind that.
Was there a bit
But I
of
wasn't-
anger being
yeah.
let out though? Because from what it looked like, there was some nip and tuck, like touching, and then on the
yeah,
back straight, there seemed to be some wheel bashing, like Ben-Hur. What happened there?
Well, there was some contact, but I didn't see anyone doing something really stupid. I mean, I just waited till the mistake, and I was like on the back of that group all the time, and then I was already happy that I could stay with them, like as a challenger driver. So I was just waiting for their mistakes and then overtake them one by one. But after the safety car, it didn't really work out for me.
I mean, I hate to tell you, but points here do not count for your challenger, which is a real shame because
Yeah, it's true. But
P8.
I'm
I
happy
mean,
to
you've
be-
got some points on the board in pro. You can hardly say,
Yeah, it's nice.
that's not too shabby. It's not too shabby.
not last
Um,
either.
What about in a couple of weeks? Will you be available to commentate or possibly stream? Because I am running out of Thursdays to be available, and we really need someone else.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You
have to
did
look
well
for
with
that.
me last time. I've still got your name on the flipping.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll if you just
Possible career change for you. You
Well,
go
I'm
down.
gonna stay
We'll give you the
I'm
Martin
gonna drive
Brundle and the Johnny Herbert approach. You were washed in
Yeah.
racing, so we'll get you into the punditry scene.
Well,
Paul
I'm
di
not
Resta
done
as
with
well.
racing yet. I still have to become champion.
Oh well, mate. I've been waiting for 12 years now on to do that. It's a lot harder
Yeah.
than you think. But anyway, we'll crack on here because I've got my 3 podiums still to interview. I'm probably going to do them all at once, and then I've got catastrophes
for
as
that.
well. But good effort, well done on the points, and I'll try and get you permissions for pro for the next race.
Yeah, I can see some of the stuff, but not all.
But you can't get. I can't even move you into the voice channel myself, and I have like privileges as well. So I'll try and
Yeah,
get
I'm
that
not the
sorted
only
for you
one.
for next time.
No worries.
Alrighty, take
Thanks
care,
for
my friend.
commentating.
Right, we'll get Catastrophe in, and then we will do all 3 podium drivers together. Catastropheus,
Oh, hello.
talk me through it. Bit of a... I mean, well, actually, do you know what? I'll ask straight away. The safety car strategy. What's the ever-loving hell were you doing? You took the lead of the race on 12-lap-old mediums, and then just sank like a stone. What was the plan?
Also,
I thought you were covering for JTK to try and get him through the field. Or was it just...
Yeah. You just spot it. I was in the back. I was not fighting for anything. The safety car almost took me out 2 times. I was even fighting the safety car at the moment.
I mean, Bert Mylander loves leading races. You know this by now.
Yeah, but he was dropping back. That was not the lead when he would try to kill me. Anyway, so my point of view was I want to be in front, try to help JTK, maybe slow a bit the others down.
Interesting plan. I mean, it did work for a while. There was a train forming, and you held up Roy long enough that once he finally got in front, his tires were dead, and he couldn't really make any inroads until later on in the race. So, I mean, I suppose it worked on that front. Has JTK, he sent you for 20 quid in the mail, or what?
Yeah, that was 40. No.
Well, you drive a hard bargain. Back in my day, we sent a $5, and now my guy would have taken out the leader.
Yeah, but jokes aside, my qualifying was horrendous. I invalidated on the last corner pretty much.
I saw that. So yeah, I saw you going like real quick, and it's like, oh, why is he pulling into the pits? The
on
map
my
is red.
second run, then on my third, I have spanned. I mean, I think I lost it from the corner, and then I had 2 less ERS, and my ERS ran out like in the final stretch.
Yeah.
So I lost pretty much a tenth or 2 there.
Yeah.
So that was P5.
Oh well.
Anyway.
I mean, P5 wasn't bad considering, you know. I know we were missing a few heavy hitters, but even then, not a bad time.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
In the end, Roy lap 1 we had an incident, let's say, nothing too serious. Pretty much, yeah. I think you just saw me drop at the point. Yeah, and that was like a quiet race until the safety car came out.
What about, so was that like agreed with JTK like over the team radio, or did you just take it upon yourself to be a team player?
No, he didn't tell me anything. I was like, why not? I had a long time to restart the safety car.
That's true.
I missed it. Also, it's the worst track to restart, since it doesn't let you do anything until the safety car comes in, where it's just a straight.
Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty much like Baku.
Yeah, we saw a few moves on other parts of the track, but yes, granted, not many. I mean, so what does this work now? Is JTK going to repay the favor in the next race?
I mean, it's not like for you, one for me.
Or are you going to just hold it like, do you remember how I helped you out in Portugal, you know? Are you going to hold that over his head?
Now I'm thinking of Verstappen. That's for Monza, or...
Yeah, jeez. Let's not start any of that. It's
whoever
bad enough.
needs it in the race. Sometimes you can have a good race and you might need some help.
That is true. Well,
That's what teams do.
I mean, you helped him get P4 at the end of the day, so a job well done, I suppose. But yeah, hopefully a more appealing race for you in the next one. Hopefully.
He did stand his ground, though.
He did stand his ground. Speaking of standing ground, I need to stand my ground while I'm getting all 3 podium drivers in here, because I'm not going through them all one by one. But thank you for the interview, and good job on helping your teammate, and hopefully, I mean, you still take a point, but hopefully more for you in the future.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Anyway,
Take care, my friend.
I'll leave you to it. You do.
Thank you.
Oh God.
Oh, hello.
And to finish off, we have all 3 of our podium drivers. It's like being in the room at the end. Who joined? Roy, naff off. You're not on the podium.
Oh, it's podium.
Podium only. Get out. Get out. Winners only in here.
He just wanted a glass of champagne, that's all.
But no, I'm just going to bring all three of you in because so we'll start off with Persegili. Also, I just don't want to move people about, to be honest. So Persegili, first of all, you've basically done everything you needed to do. You said lucky, but I mean, a lot of people would say in Formula 1 there's no such thing as luck. There's just keeping it clean, and that's what you did. You've now got another 18 points on top of your leading. You've pulled away from Tixie, who is now second in the championship, and with Bradley not being here, with us now a third of the way through the season, you must at this point be at least quietly confident in becoming champion, or are you still thinking it's too early to say?
It's too early. I don't want to jinx it.
I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood here, just to make sure I'm not commentators cursing you. But, I mean, did you really have any struggles today, or was it really just keep it clean and see what happens? Did you go into this with a mindset of being aggressive, or?
No, honestly, after the qualifying, I was actually in a voice chat with Tixie, so we kind of tried to just play through cleanly. And at some point in the first stint, I started to lose my rears in the braking zone. So I think Jan and Benja both got through to me. So after that, I was just trying to save my tires, but then the safety car came in, and Anastasis decided to stay out. And at the restart, I was kind of struggling to overtake him in the middle sector. So I lost some time, and then I started to push to get back to the DRS, and it was looking really bad for me. But then the guys just decided to punt themselves off the track, and then it was just Roy and I, and then Roy decided to do the same, and I just
Roy spun on his own. He admitted to that much. Not much else to really say about that. To be honest, you've had such a quiet race. It'll be a nice short interview. What we really want to get onto, I suppose, no offence to you particularly, but is the two that we haven't seen on the podium this season. And after being so used to seeing them in Challenger every race, it feels weird only saying hi to them now. Rickety, who is muted for some reason. Rickety.
Hi.
Here, kitty. Rickety. Second. Podium.
Finally. Oh, that was a great race.
Were you expecting that at all? I mean, you must have had at least some hope after quality, because you qualified P5. So you must have thought at least a podium is somewhat manageable.
Honestly, the mindset was pretty bad going into this race, because the previous 4 rounds, I've just been knocked out of the points all the time. So
don't worry, I know the feeling.
The mindset going into this race was really just like, there was not a lot of hope. There was not a lot of practice. Maybe just like 15 laps of practice, and that's about it. But I got a good flow of the track. Like, so I know the track from 2021 when we had it last in the calendar. So I was fairly confident about at least being up to pace coming into the race. And a P2 is a welcome for me.
That's your first point of the season, if I recall correctly, yes?
Yeah.
And you've immediately bagged, was it 16 for second, isn't it?
No, 16 is for first. 12 points is for second, I believe.
Oh, right. Sorry, I got mixed. I thought it was 18 for first. Sorry, my bad. So 12 points, though. That puts you way up the order immediately. So,
yeah.
Will we go from strength to... Can we see more podiums, strength to strength from here? Or do you think it's a bit of a fluke?
Honestly, Persegili, Bradley, and Jan is just too quick. So obviously, a driver world champion is a bit too far-fetched for both me and Rocco.
Hey, never say never.
We're hoping for top 3 in the constructors, and that's sort of what we're gunning for. It's sort of really bad luck that it's just one of us that gets the luck, and then the other driver gets all the bad luck. We finishing in the points today, and Rocco will DNF, then.
Yeah, well, that was just his wheel disconnected. Apparently, he had to reset his PC just to fix the darn thing. So,
I heard
technical difficulties for him, unfortunately. But he did get you the safety car unintentionally, which led towards this somewhat. So whether he meant to or not, that all worked out for you in the end, I suppose. And speaking of things working out, Gamma, welcome to the podium again.
It's sendable.
It's sendable.
But I have to break it to you, Gamma. It's not real. It's not real, the
It's
podium.
not real, bro. This isn't even real.
This
We're
isn't
gonna
real. None of this is
disclassify
real.
this race.
The
We're
accident
gonna
was 5
disclassify
years
this
ago. Wake up.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't your fault. It was all Maldonado, I swear.
Nah.
But no, good to have you
so-
back in the podium room.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
good to be back. Bro.
And you had somewhat more of an eventful race than the other two. Obviously, the
It's
safety car
true.
helped you out, but I suppose the main point I want to ask is because I believe it was yourself, Thomas D, and who else was it on the back straight? There was like 3 of you battling.
Rickety, bro. That
Was it rickety?
Yeah.
Because wasn't there some barging of wheels on the main
Mate.
straightaway?
That guy's racecraft is top tier, bro. He's literally like Max Verstappen. He's goated.
I mean,
That
I
guy is-
mentioned how it was like, I'm showing my age here, it was like Ben-Hur, flipping chariot racing, bashing the wheels together,
Yeah.
smash them off.
That guy gave me a nice little shove almost into the pit wall. It was cold.
I sort of saw that. It's on the stream, I believe. I don't know if you are allowed to obviously to use evidence from the stream if you want to. And now, do you feel it's worth it, or?
Yeah, but I just don't care, mate. That guy's the goat.
I mean, it
So
was.
goated.
I did get flashbacks to Vettel in Baku. You know,
Yeah, for real, it was
getting
that,
annoyed
bro.
and bashing Hamilton.
Yeah, I think he lost his head a bit, but it's calm, bro. It's cool. That guy finished like P fucking nowhere, so it's fine.
B fucking 8, isn't it? Hey, 8 ain't nowhere. You know, that's where you
8,
finish most of the
yeah.
season. Let's be real.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
That wasn't even trying to burn. That was just facts. But hey, at least it's higher up than I've been finishing. So there you go. But nah. Yeah.
It's peak, man. It's peak. It is what it is, bro.
It is what it
I live
is.
my
What
life
it is.
of course,
Altogether,
my life,
it
man.
is what
It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
I mean, I'll ask the same question I asked to Rickety there. Is this a fluke, or can we expect to see more of the GOAT
Yes,
of Gamma
bro.
up on the podium?
Yeah, this is a big fluke, bro. I'm so washed. I did 4 laps in quali, bro, and invalidated 3 of them. How was that possible? Yeah, that's cold.
To be fair, Portugal's a track we rarely go to. It keeps on flicking on and off the calendar, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's a terrible track, bro. Terrible track. bro.
it's definitely better than 21, in my opinion. There's more grip on there than there was.
Yeah.
But with the undulations, it just keeps on, especially with the fact these cars are ground effect, it unsettles them like nothing else. So
Yeah, so
so that's,
those sausage cabs are a bit deadly.
they
They're
are just a wee
not
bit.
right
Just a
then,
wee bit.
quali or not. Yeah, just a wee
But it's an interesting track. It's nice to do it every once in a while. So let me see. Where are we off
Oh,
to?
Silverstone, boss. Silverstone is where it's at.
We are off to Silverstone next. That'll be it. That's always a fun
I
one.
lied, bro. I'm getting a
won't be there.
podium.
I won't be there. I
Oh,
won't be there.
this guy won't be there.
Everyone's gonna. It's not gonna be raining, but the track will be, because everyone will be sweating so much. I swear down.
Jersey can take my seat for that one race.
There you go. But anyway, we will let you get yourself psyched up for Silverstone. And as I say, Rickety, you'll need to find someone else for streaming soon, because I've got maybe next
I know.
week
I'm aware.
at
I'm aware.
most. Maybe the week after, but not too sure.
Oh no, Lars, we are gonna miss you.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
You've been the MVP of the season when it comes to streaming, mate.
in terms of commentating, yeah, I am the Murray Walker of this server. Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Usually because I
That is
stumble over
real
my
talk.
words just
That
as
is
much as
real.
well.
Well,
Anything can happen in Formula One, and it usually does.
I think on behalf of the Pro Series, we can all.
Formula One
thank you
is just
for,
if spelt backwards, except with a one. See, I can do
What?
Murrayisms.
Swear to God.
See, I can do Murrayisms too. But anyway, we'll leave it there, and just want to thank everyone else for watching. We've had, even though a smaller field, another cracking race. Bit quieter towards the end, but
Yeah.
hopefully that will just be a nice appetizer for Silverstone, which always promises to be a thriller. And we will see you there next Thursday, same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, thank you very much for
Bye-bye.
watching, everyone, and have a very good evening. Take care.